Why are we proud of not using synthetic vitamins in our foods? And are they really any different than food-sourced vitamins? After all, most pet foods and human foods are fortified or balanced with synthetic vitamins of some kind. So, what's the big deal? Let's start off with a simple question. What are synthetic vitamins? Synthetic vitamins are industrial-made compounds that are designed to mimic the molecular structure and function of naturally occurring vitamins. Basically, they're manufactured copies of the originals. Let's look at an example. The actual compound known as vitamin C is this guy right here, ascorbic acid. The synthetic form, which is typically made from genetically modified corn, is chemically identical to the natural form found in foods, like oranges or Brussels sprouts. And inside the body, it fits into the exact same proverbial slot as natural vitamin C, keeping me from getting scurvy, losing all my teeth, and dying painfully, among a ton of other roles that vitamin C plays. The benefit of the synthetic form is you can manufacture tons of it for pennies and slap it into any foods that you want. Now, instead of eating foods like fruits and vegetables that are naturally rich in vitamin C, I can spend all day eating fast food, gulp down one of these bad boys, and be the epitome of good health, right? Well, as you probably guessed, when it comes to the immensely beautiful, complex world of nature, there's a little more to the story. That's because natural vitamins don't normally enter our bodies in their isolated, lonely form. In nature, we don't get ascorbic acid by itself. We get it in a package that includes other things, called a complex. So what are food-sourced vitamins? And if they're molecularly identical, how do they differ? Food-sourced vitamins are naturally formed in plants, mushrooms, and animals. In nature, vitamin C forms as a whole package of compounds, including bioflavonoids, tyrosinase, rutin, factors J, P, and K, mineral cofactors, and ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is basically the wrapper, and all of these other compounds find a home within it. Many of these compounds work alongside vitamin C, making it more effective and providing other health benefits. The synthetic form of vitamin C only includes ascorbic acid, lacking the other compounds found in the natural vitamin C complex. Vitamin C is just an example here. It's one of the easiest ones to illustrate the differences between synthetic and natural. Healthy dogs and cats can actually manufacture their own vitamin C, as long as they have all of the building blocks necessary. But there are a collection of vitamins and minerals they do need to get from their food. Here are the vitamins you typically see supplemented in synthetic form. And here are the minerals that are typically added to pet foods. And here are the vitamins we add to our foods and the minerals. Those lists are empty on purpose because we don't add anything that's not real food. So what are the benefits of synthetic vitamins? It can't be all bad, right? And it's not. Let's look at the pros and cons for synthetic vitamins and whole food vitamins, starting with whole food vitamins. The main benefit is that it is the complete package, exactly what the body is expecting with all of the enzymes, cofactors, and other friends that help it work. The ingredient that contains vitamin C, such as broccoli, will also provide a whole host of other complementary nutrients like prebiotic fiber, probiotics, and other vitamins and minerals. This is exactly how your body, your dog's body, and your cat's body, and the body of every other animal on the planet has been getting its nutrients for billions of years, from real food. It's also hard to overdose on whole foods. It would be obvious if we added too much broccoli, and would probably result at most in a little gassiness. So natural gets a point for safety. Honestly, we could keep listing things here, but I'm guessing you guys get the idea. Let's talk about the downsides of whole food vitamins: price and balance. Real foods are substantially more expensive than synthetic vitamins, and you now have to arrange them in the right balance to make sure you're getting everything that that animal needs. So we can't just use corn, potato, rice, and a little chicken. We now have to include appropriate foods. We also can't rough these ingredients up too much using high heat or heavy processing, because we would destroy some of the good stuff. So Not a big list of cons, but it is enough for most pet food companies to turn to synthetic additives. Let's look at the pros and cons. Synthetic vitamins are cheap to make, so they can bring down the cost versus adding natural foods. That means that rather than adding spinach and romaine lettuce, you can add a vitamin K supplement and swap those pricier ingredients for corn or potatoes. They're also widely available, so populations that don't have access to a healthy variety of foods have benefited massively from synthetic vitamins. Some foods are even required to be fortified. In the US, wheat flour has to have added iron, calcium, thiamine, and niacin. Synthetic vitamins can also be superdosed or taken in high amounts for short periods in order to improve a specific imbalance in the body. An example would be taking lots of ascorbic acid to reduce stored copper. In humans, not in dogs, and always under the guidance of a professional. Some downsides of synthetic vitamins are that depending on the source, the quality may be unreliable and contain contaminants. They're also typically made using genetically modified crops, or even from non-food sources, such as coal tar or petroleum. They can also cause allergic reactions or sensitivities, not just from the vitamin, but from the other things that may be present from the manufacturing process. Absorption can be variable. The body may only be able to absorb a small portion of a large dose. An example of this is when you drink a lot of added vitamin B and it turns your pee bright yellow. Finally, it's easier to mess up the concentration and cause potentially dangerous deficiencies or toxicities, especially if these are purchased as a blend, which is typical in the pet food industry. A pet food company will buy a mixture of vitamins and minerals called a premix that they add to their food as is. And this has caused problems, even with foods that come highly regarded. Since 2007, there have been 30 recalls for nutrient imbalances in pet foods, including a leading veterinary brand initiating one of the largest recalls ever by a single brand. Over 1 million cases of food recalled in 2019 for dangerous levels of vitamin D. This was followed 4 years later by another leading veterinary brand recalling their food for too much vitamin D.
When we add synthetic nutrients to food, the body doesn't recognize those synthetics as something from nature. And very commonly, that can be a trigger for a lot of the inflammation, autoimmune disease, allergies. The body is just reacting to foreign invaders. When the nutrients are coming from food, the body knows how to handle that, and the body will pick and choose the nutrients that it needs. So we don't get excesses, we don't get deficiencies. When we add in synthetic vitamins, let's just say that we make a mistake and too much vitamin D is added in, and the body absorbs too much vitamin D, then we have kidney failure, and that has happened so many times in the pet food industry.
These are only the cases where someone was able to connect the problem with the cause. There are likely a lot more excesses or deficiencies that go undetected and unnoticed because nobody looks for them. Over a lifetime, these nutritional imbalances add up and can cause or contribute to a multitude of health problems. So as you can see, there are a lot more benefits and less risk using real foods to balance your diet. But for us, it was a simpler question than that. Not which is more economical or which is easiest. We chose to balance our foods using real whole foods because we simply asked, what's the best way? Our food is arranged from the ground up to be good for dogs and cats, designed specifically around their needs. There are about 40-something essential nutrients for dogs and cats, things that need to be in their diet or they will run into problems quickly. And those are the things that you'll get in processed foods. But there's so much more to food than just the stuff you need not to die. There are 20 to 30,000 naturally occurring compounds in food. And by working with nature rather than trying to recreate it on the cheap, your pet's food can supply everything they need to thrive, not just survive. No animal should eat a diet of only processed food, and no one feeds animals better than nature. It's our job to get it into your pet's bowl in its safest and healthiest form. Food that's truly designed for dogs and cats.